I was in our backyard exercising on the trapeze, and my hand slipped, and I fell about 10 feet to the ground and landed on my forehead, broke the 6th and 7th vertebrae. I remember my hand slipping on the trapeze. As I was falling, I heard a voice, a very clear, deep voice saying, "It's not time yet." And I didn't know whether it was my voice or whose voice. And then I remember sort of swimming back to the surface. And I remember waking up the next day in the hospital. A lot of those early days, I was just a passive observer. At NIH, they set the schedule, they determined what you wore, they determined the menu, and a lot of hospital life is like that. You hurry up and wait. I remember a girlfriend came in to visit, and I remember looking over and seeing her and saying hi, looking back, and then looking over again, and she was disappeared. And apparently she had fainted at the sight of me with the Crutchfield tongs digging into my scalp to hold 30 pounds of weights on a pulley to keep my neck straight and in alignment. I was on a striker frame. Every hour or so you get turned from right side up to upside down so you avoid pressure sores. It's like a human rotisserie. About the 3rd or 4th day I was there, I mentioned to the staff that there's a mouse in the air conditioner. And the nurse said, "We're on the 14th floor, there aren't any mice here." The next morning when my father came in, he looked around, took the cover off, and found a rat trapped in a little corner of the air conditioner. And I felt so good to be vindicated. When they finally took the metal tongs out of my skull, I could move my head around and my arms. And I went to Georgia Warm Springs Rehabilitation Center down in Georgia. And they started me with various exercise routines to build my strength. Did some stuff I never thought I'd be able to do physically, like learning to transfer to the bathtub bench or learning to feed myself with adapted equipment. My 5th week, this young quadriplegic, Larry Keegan, wheels in. And he turns out he's my roommate for the weekend and following Monday, where he's come all the way to Georgia Warm Springs Foundation to learn how to put his socks on. That was the only thing he hadn't mastered. I solved that by not using socks, but he wanted to be a little more conventional. He had a hand-controlled car. He was playing in a band. He was dating on Saturday nights and partying at bars on Friday nights, and he went off to college. He was an amazing guy. And toward the end of the conversation, he said, "You know, Fred, you'll never walk again." And I immediately wanted to change the subject. And he said, "No, you need to face this. You're gonna be in a wheelchair all your life." And I said, "Well, they're doing research. They may come up with something." And he repeated it, you know, "You're never gonna walk again." And after he left, I cried my heart out. It's like I'd lost both legs and both arms, and it was just devastating. But the next morning in physical therapy, I was lifting weights, not because the PT was telling me to, but because if I could get the strength in my arms, I could fold my wheelchair up and put it in the back seat of my car and drive off and get to date and drink and all that good stuff. It was just amazing transformation. The day after, I felt really wonderful possibilities.